Hello and welcome to your Morning Cup, the show where 5 minutes is all it takes to figure out what is worth knowing about today. And we start with Donald Trump's inauguration, of course. A couple of things right off the bat that Mr. Trump decided to make very clear with his new 4 year term in office. Trump started his first day in office with a bunch of executive orders that ranged all the way from the southern border to leaving behind a solid legacy. Where do we start? Well, with the southern border. Now, the US Army is going to be deployed to the southern border of the United States, and there has been a national emergency declared at the southern border. What this means for the massive illegal immigration influx and the fact that, well, it was essentially a gateway to the United States is grim for those that thought that that was the best way in. Immigration, on the other hand, is something that is going to be reevaluated at its very core. Now, Trump has stated that he is not against legal immigration, and the fact that he prioritizes people that come in legally, given the fact that a lot of companies, to avoid tariffs, are going to be migrating onto the United States and establishing their base of operations there. That being said, they will require specialized talent from all across the globe, but only via legal migration, which is all making sense from the outside looking in. Nobody wants illegal immigrants because there is no accountability, and well, it's the basis for how terror organizations breach national security. Now, TikTok, on the other hand, is something that has been in the news for far too long. India has been one of the countries that has outright banned TikTok, but the US still had it going for the longest time ever. Now, US did eventually ban TikTok under the Biden administration, and well, Trump stated that it's going to be reinstated by extending the date wherein it either needed to be purchased by an American holder or be shut down altogether. The date has been pushed back. By no means is this a proclamation that TikTok is safe, but it's the fact that it leaves open opportunity for the Trump administration to make some negotiations and lure some investments into domains which would otherwise be really hard to get off the ground. So what happens with ByteDance's TikTok? It's anyone's guess. For now, it's back up and running, and creators across TikTok are rejoicing. A lot of professionals across the globe are worried about what would be the status of the H-1B visa. Clearly, the Department of Government Efficiency, also called DOGE, is looking into its viability. Now, whether that stays with the domain of DOGE or that gets pushed off to Congress via something that the president implements is still to be seen. Bottom line being, either H-1B gets a revamp altogether with its requirements, or it gets scrapped and a new policy is pushed forth. Given the fact that most people across the world that are looking for professional grounds of migration to the United States consider H-1B to be their ideal gateway, this is going to affect a lot of people. Moving to the cartels. Now, the cartels have devastated the United States, and not just the US alone, but the US has been the major recipient of all of the drugs, all of the illegal migrations, and, well, essentially the crisis on the southern border as well. Now, the cartels have become overpowered for the Mexican authorities to deal with on an individual capacity, given the fact that they hold exceptional firepower and are more organized than one thought. The US is now resorting to declaring the cartels as an international terror organization. What does this mean? This means that the US is now going to be actively deploying the armed forces of the US to go and deal with the cartel in any and all capacities. A new war is about to be ensued, and this one is right in America's backyard. Finally, we come to the Gulf of Mexico. Something that was rather amusing to hear when you heard about what his plans were in his inauguration speech, but Donald Trump has openly dictated that he is going to make an attempt to, one, make the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, and two, get back the Panama Canal, which was once a gift from the United States by President Jimmy Carter to Panama, which, well, arguably is now under the control of the Chinese Communist Party. What this means for Panama is, again, up for grabs. Does this mean that the US is going to actually exercise control, and if things don't go their way, use military force to achieve the same? Still goes to be someone's best guess. Clearly, what we do understand here is the fact that Trump is here to leave a lasting legacy. 4 years is all he's got. He can't run for presidency again. So 4 years to leave behind a legacy that not only solidifies him as one of the biggest change makers in US history, but also paves a path for the rest of the Trump family that without a doubt is going to be interested in getting into office to finally make their play. That starts with Donald Trump Jr.